Hello friends, hope you all have attended last session also. In last session we have just given the introduction of data interpretation. So what we have discussed, just have a quick recap of what we have discussed in the last session and what we are going to do in today's session. So this is our first class of data interpretation which is going on, which is all about tables, where data is given in the form of tables. So what we have discussed in part 1 of this class is uh, how DI problem looks like, what is DI, what are the different types of DI which are possible, how DI problem looks like, what are the tools and techniques to solve DI problems so that we will not get stuck in calculations. So we have discussed certain tools also, in how many ways data can be represented. So what were those tools which we have discussed? We have discussed percentages to fraction and fraction to percentages, and I hope you have studied now percentage to fraction, fraction to percentages till 1 by 20, at least till 1 by 20, and it's vice versa also. For example, if I ask you what is 1 by 18, so you should remember percentage as well as the fraction of it. So that is what we have discussed. Tool number 2 we have discussed multiplying factor. Tool number 3 we have discussed successive percentage change or overall multiplying factor tool. And then in the next tool we have discussed SAGR, AAGR, what is simple annual growth rate and what is average annual growth rate. And then we have discussed one more important tool. Sometimes observation is more than sufficient to answer the question. And we have discussed the example in which we have shown this thing that comprehension of data is very important in data interpretation. So if we do not comprehend the data well, then chances of error are very high. So this all we have discussed in the first session or part 1 of this class. Now what we are going to do today is we are going to discuss some of the question based on tables. If the data is given in the form of the tables, then how we are going to discuss about how we are going to do those questions or attempt those questions. I am going to discuss that. So let's start with the first question, first data set. So let's start. So this is the data which is given. Just have a look at it. Take 30-40 seconds to just go through this data set. What is there in the data? Okay, so I hope you all must have comprehended the data well. So this is very important part. Comprehension of data is very important. What data exactly is saying is very important to understand. So let's understand this together once again. Let's read it once again. So directions for question 1 to 5. This is head notes or the heading which we have discussed how DI problem looks like. So head note is study the following table carefully and answer the questions. So this table shows the number of elected members from various parties in a state assembly. So what does this table suggesting us? This table is showing us the number of elected members from various parties in a state assembly. So for example, in year 1985, from party A, there were 45 members which were selected in the state assembly, and from party B in the same year it was 115. From party C it was 85, from party D it was 160, and from party E it was 45. And the total number of members selected in the state assembly from in 1985 is going to be the sum of all these. Similarly, for if someone asks what is the total number of members who are selected from party A in 1995, so it is going to be 44. Someone asks you what is the number of members which are selected from party C in 2000, then it is going to be 86. So this is about data, which data is showing. So data is here about the number of elected members from various parties in a state assembly. This is what data is suggesting us. So now let's move on to question. What are the questions which are associated with this data set? So let's look at the question number 1. So just try it once. Take 30-40 seconds. This is very easy question. Take 1 minute. Okay, it's okay. Take 1 minute. Okay, let's see what does this question is asking. Let's read this question once again with me. How many more seats did party D get over party B on all the elections put together? So what does this question is asking? This is question is asking us how many more seats did party D get over party B in all the elections put together. So what we have to do here, we have to get the sum of seats of party B in all the election together and the sum of party D in all the election together, and we then we have to get the difference of that those sum. So that is which is asked in this question. So let's start solving this question. So first what we need to do, first we need to find out the total number of seats party D got in all the elections put together. D party has got 160 seats in 1985, 145 seats in 1990, 140 in 1995, and so on. And the sum of all these is going to be 911. How to do this sum fastly? Just assume all of them. How many of these years are there? 6. So just assume all of them to be 150. Why 150? Because they all are close to 150. So we can assume it to be 150. So if all of them would have been 150, then 150 into 6 would have been my answer. So 150 into 6 is how much? 150 is into 6, 15 6 are 90. So 150 into 6 will become 900. So can I say sum would have been 900 if all of them would have been how much? 150, 150. But some of them are more than 150, some of them are less than 150. So can we compensate that? Let's try to do that. So how much is more part as compared to the less part? So in two of the years it is less than 150, and how much is less than? In one year it is 140 and in another year it is 145. So total less is going to be 10 plus 15, which is 25. So into these 2 years the sum of less than 150 is going to be 25. And in how many years it was greater than 150? For 4 years it is greater than 150. Which 4 years? 1985, 19 your 2000, 2005, 2010. And how much more? In 2 years it is having 155, 155. In one of the year it is 156, and in one of the year it is 160. So how much more? It is going to be 5 plus 5 10, 10 plus 6 is 16, and 16 plus sorry 5 plus 5 is going to be 10, and 10 plus 6 is going to be 16, and 16 plus how much it is 10 is going to be 26. And less wala quantity was how much? It was 15. So 26 minus 15 is going to be 11. So it would be 11 more than 900. So 11 more than 900, it will be 911. So we can do this fast also like this. Otherwise we have to just clerically add all those values to get the total number of seats party D got in all the elections put together. So both the ways are correct. You can do it in any way. So this is the number of seats party D got in all the elections put together. And what has been asked to us, how many more seats did party D get over party B in all the elections put together? Now we have got the total number of seats got by party D in all the elections put together. Now what we need to find out, the total number of seats party B got in all the elections put together. So what is the sum of party B? It is going to be, if we add all of them, 115, 122, 125, 119, 113, 125, it comes out to be 719. Again, how can we do this calculation? Simply just assume all of them to be 120. Why 120? Because all of them are close to 120. Some are more than 120, some are slightly less than 120. So we have assumed everyone to be 120. If everyone would have been 120, then 120 plus 120 plus 120, 6 times we would have added. So 120 into 6 would have become 720, because 12 6 are 72. So 120 into 6 is going to be 720. So answer would have been the sum of all the seats of party B would have been 720 if all of them would have been how much? 120. But because some of them are less than and some of them are more than 120, answer should be slightly more or less than 720. So let's get how much less or more. So in how many years it is less than 120? It is in 3 years, 1985, 2000 and 2005. So sum of less is going to be, in 1 year 1985 it is 5 less than 120, in 2009 it is 1 less than 120, and in 2005 it is 7 less than 113. So total less is going to be 5 plus 1 6, and 6 plus 7 is going to be 13. So 5 in 1985, 1 less in 2000, and your, sorry, 7 less in 2005. So 5 plus 1, 6, 6 plus 7 is going to be how much? It is going to be 13. So 13 less than 120 is the sum. And how much more? In 3 years it is more than 120. And what are those years? 1990, 1995 and 2010. And how much more? 5 and 5 in both in 1995 and 2010. So total will become 10, and 12 in 2 in 1990. So 10 plus 2 will become 12. So 12 more and 13 less. So difference is going to be 1, and 1 towards the less wala side. So our answer should be 720 minus 1, because less wala side is more than the greater wala side. So it is going to be 1 less than 720, which comes out to be 790. Or we can directly add all of these, but adding directly it will take a lot of time, or more time as compared to just imagining imaginary value and just getting the deviations. So this is how we are going to add them. So we have got the total number of seats party B got, and we have got the total number of seats which party D got. Now what has been asked, how many more seats did party D get over party B in all the elections put together? We just want the difference of their seats. So 911 minus 719, which comes out to be 192, which is option number B. So answer is going to be option B in this case. I hope it is clear to everyone. Okay, what we have done, we have just sum up all the seats of party B in all the years, and we have summed up all the seats of party D in all the year, and then we have took the difference between them. That is asked in the question. Okay, let's move on to next question, question number 2. And before that, moving on to question number 2, just have one of the alternate approach to solve this question. This question can be solved in one more way. How we can solve this question in one more way? It has been asked, what is the difference between party D and party B in all the elections put together, right? So can we take the individual differences? Yes, we can take the individual differences. Just look at the number of seats party B got in each of the year. It is 115, 122, 125, 119 and so on. And what party D got? 160, 145, 140, 155, 155, 156. So in each of the year party D has got more number of seats as compared to party B. So we can subtract them individually and add them accordingly, and the final answer would be again the same. For example, in 1985 the number of seats which party B got was 115 and which party D got was 160. So what is the difference between them? 160 minus 115, which is going to be 45. So 45 is the difference in year 1985. And similarly in 1990, what is the difference? The number of seats which party B won was B got was 122 and which party D got was 41, 45. So difference between them is going to be how much? In that case, it is going to be 15 plus 8, 23. So similarly, we can add all the differences and got the answer, our required answer, which would be 122. So this could also be the one of the approach to solve this question. Rather than summing up all B, all D and taking the difference, we can individually take the difference between all the years together and then just add them. Okay, I hope it is clear to everyone. Let's move on to next question. Question number 2. So which of the two parties could join to form a government in 2010 if B and D are opposed to each other? Just try this question once. You have 30 seconds to answer this question. I hope most of you have got the answer. Question is asking which of the two parties could join to form a government in 2010 if B and D are opposed to each other. Just tell me one thing. Which party could form the government who has got the more than 50% of the total votes polled? That party is going to form the government always. This happens in our life also. Which party in our political system also, which party get the government, get the chance to form the government, who will be having more than 50% of the total votes polled. So here also the which two parties can be clubbed if which two parties can be clubbed so that their sum will become 50, more than 50% of the total votes polled in 2010. Those two parties can be clubbed and can form the government. For example, party A, B, C, D, here some votes are given and their sum is, let me just check. So so what we need to check, what is the two parties from whose vote are 50% or more than, oh sorry, more than 50% of the total votes polled. So we have given four options here. So let's try to solve this question. So A and B, can A and B, but one condition is also given, B and D are opposed to each other. So obviously B and D cannot do that. So if B and D cannot do, because B and D directly we can see from the data that B and D, if votes are combined, then obviously it has to be less than the more than 50%. So they are opposing parties, they are like Congress and BJP, so they will not form alliance. So apart from these two, they can club with any other parties, or any other parties can club with themselves to form the government, but B and D cannot form the government. They are opposed to each other means they cannot form the alliance, they cannot be in the single party, or they cannot join with each other. Okay, so first option is saying, can A and B do that? The sum of A and B comes out to be 125 plus 45, which is 170. And by the data we can see it is not going to be more than 50%. Why not? Because if we sum up C and D, it is going to be more than the sum of A and B. So obviously it is not going to be my answer. Similarly, we can check for B and C. B and C, some could be the possibility or not. We can check that. Similarly, we can check for C and D, and for D and D. So do we need to check for D and D also? No, not at all. We need not to check for D and D also. So by data also we can reject one of all of these options or most of the option, because A and B can be rejected without even calculating the sum of all the votes which parties have got, because the sum of A and B is less than the sum of C and D itself. So obviously it will not get more than 50% of the votes, total votes polled. Similarly, the sum of D and E will always will be less than the sum of B and C, of course. So why less than the sum of B and C? Because B and C sum is going to be around 210, but it will be around only 160 plus 30, somewhere close to 190. So obviously D and D will not be the answer, A and B will not be the answer. So answer could be in either B and C or either C and D. So in B and C and in C and D, from with which option you are, which one is common in both of them, B and C and C and D? C is common in both of them. So if C is common in B and C and C and D, so whichever will can form the government. From B and D, whosoever is greater is going to form the government. So obviously D is greater than B, so C and D combining will going to form the government. So you need not to check, you need not to calculate in this question also. We have discussed tool number 5 in the last part of this session, where we have seen that sometimes observation is more than sufficient to answer the question, need not to calculate every time. So just by seeing the option we can say A and B cannot form the government because it is less than C and D, and we want the sum of these to be more than 50%. So obviously if it is less than C and D, it is going to be less than C plus D plus E also. So similarly D and D cannot form the government, so either answer is B and C or C and D. In B and C and C and D, C is common to both. So whosoever is greater between B and D, that is going to be my answer. So obviously D is greater than B, so answer is going to be C and D. So need not to calculate it. Okay. So just by observing the option, we can get to the answer. Okay. Next question. So next question is, what percentage of the seats did party B and D together get in 1995? So what percentage of the seats did party B and D together get in 1995? So what we need to find out in this question, we need to find out in 1995 what is the total number of seats that were available in 1995. So what is the total number of seats available in 1995? This is going to be the sum of all the party seats. So in 1995, party A got 44 seats, party B got 125 seats, party C got 95 seats, party D got 140 seats, and party E got 46 seats. And what is the sum of all these seats? This is going to be 450. So 450 is the sum of all the seats in 1995. And what is asked in my question? It is asked what percentage of the seats did party B and D together get in 1995? So what is the percentage of sum of party B and E seats as compared to the total number of seats in 1995? So what is, how much did party B get in 1995? It is 125. And how much did party E get in 1995? It is 46. So their sum is going to be 125 plus 46, which comes out to be 171. Okay, and we want to calculate 171 is how much percentage of 450, or the sum of the seats of B and E is how much percentage of the total seats in 1995. So total seats in 1995 is 450 and the sum of seats of B and E together is 171. So we need to find out 171 is how much percentage of 450. So 171 divided by 450 into 100 is going to be my answer, which is 38%. Now, how to calculate this 171 upon 450 without calculating? Can we do that? Just try it once. How can we do this? We want 171 is how much percentage of 450. We know 450 itself is 100%. Now from 100%, I need to calculate 171 is how much percentage of 450. That is my question. So if 450 is 100, then 45 is going to be 10%. If 450 itself is 100%, then 45 is going to be 10%. And if 45 is 10%, then 45 into 4, 45 into 4 will become 180. So can I say 180 is going to be 40%? Again, 450 is 100%. If 450 is 100% or 450 is the total, so what is 10%? It is going to be 45. So 10% of 450 is 45. What is 40%? Multiplying both sides by 4. So 40% is going to be 45 into 4, which comes out to be 180. So if 40% is 180. Now what we want, 171 is how much percent of 450? We know that 180 is 40% of 40. So my answer is going to be less than, slightly less than 40%. So 24 or 32 should not be the answer. So answer should be either 38 or 36. Now how to get to that answer? 1% of 450 is 4.5. So if 1% is 4.5, how much is 2%? Double of 4.5, which is 9. And if we subtract 9 from 180, what we will get? 171. So we can say 171 is going to be 40 minus 2%, which is 38%. Or we can do that directly also, not an issue. But if we do it like this, by using approximation method, by using 10%, 1% wala concept, then our calculation is going to be little bit easier for us. So answer here is 171 upon 450 into 100, which comes out to be 38%. If you do it directly also, 171 100 upon 450, you'll be getting the same answer there also. Okay. Okay, let's move on to next question. So what is asked in the next question? Let's just read the question. Take 10-15 seconds, then I'll be solving this question again. Okay, by what percentage is the number of seats secured by party D more than the number of seats secured by party B in 1995? So how much did party D secured more than that of B in 1995? So in comparison to B, how much more did party D get? So we have to compare it by B. So B will come in the denominator. And what has to be compared? Their difference. How much more did D get as compared to B? So their difference divided by B into 100% is going to be my answer. So how much vote did party D get in 1995? It is 140. And how much seats did party B get in 1995? It is 125. And what is their difference? That is 15. So we want 15 is how much percentage of 125, or 15 upon 125 into 100, which is 12%. Again, we can do this by using that 10% wala concept. We know that 125 itself is 100%. We want that 15 is how much percent of 125. If 125 itself is 100%, then what is its 10%? That is 12.5. 1 point will be shifted. So 12.5 is 10% of 125, and 1% of 125 is 1.25. So 2% is going to be its double. Double of 1 is 2 and double of 0.25 is zero point 0.5. So it is 2.5. And if we add 12.5 and 2.5, what I will get? 10% plus 2%, which is 12%. So again we can do this orally. Need not to calculate 1500 upon 125. Without using that, we can also do this question. What has been asked in this question? The percentage, how much percentage did D get as compared to B? So we know the calculation. B will come in the denominator by, because we are comparing with B. So with whom we are comparing, that will come in the denominator, and in the numerator their difference will come, because we want D's voltage or D's seats is how much percentage more than B. So in numerator their difference will come, and in denominator that quantity will come which with whom we are comparing. So we are comparing with B, so B will come in the denominator. So basically D minus B upon B into 100 we want to do, and D's seats is 140, B's seat is 125. So answer is going to be 140 minus 125 divided by 125 into 100, turns out to be 12%. I hope it is clear to everyone. Okay, so answer is choice D. Let's move on to next question. What is the ratio of the number of seats secured by party C in 1985 to that of the secured by party B in the year 2000? Only 10-second question. Do it fast. Very easy question. Okay, let's see. So question has been asked to us. What is the ratio of the number of seats secured by party C in 1985 to that secured by party B in that year? In the year 2000. So what is the number of seats secured by party C in 1985? It is 85. What is the number of seats secured by party B in 2000? It is 119. We just want their ratio. So what is their ratio? 85 ratio 119. Both will get cancelled by 17. So what is my answer? 5 is to 7. Why 5 is to 7? 17 5 is 85 and 17 7 is 119. So our answer is 5 is to 7. Very easy question. We just need to find out the ratios. So answer is choice B, which is 5 ratio 7. Next data set. Just go through this data set. Take 20 seconds, 30 seconds to go through the data set. To comprehend the data, what is there in this data. Okay, let me just read it for you and comprehend it for you. So directions for question number 6 to 10 is: the following table shows the marks obtained by 5 students in 6 different subjects. Study the table carefully and answer the questions. So maximum marks in each subject is going to be 100. So what has been given in this question? There are 6 students, 5 students, sorry, Ramu, Sita, Geeta, Ballu and Soni. There are 5 students and 6 subjects. So how much did Ramu scored in A subject? 66. How much did Ramu scored in D subject? It is 64. How much did Geeta scored in B subject? It is 78. How much did Soni scored in E subject? It is 33. So this is the number of this is the marks which 5 students got in different 5 subjects A, B, C, D, E, F, and the maximum marks is fixed for each subject for each of the student, which is 100. This is the question. So marks are given here in the form of table. Now first related question is this. Just take 30-40 seconds to read this question, then I'll be solving this question for you. Okay, I hope you have read the question at least. So what is the difference between the total marks obtained by Ramu in all the subjects together and that obtained by Balu. So what we want? We want the sum of marks of Ramu and sum of marks of Balu and then their difference. We want the total marks of Balu and total marks of Ramu's difference. So their total marks difference is something which is required here. So how to get the total marks of Ramu? What is total marks scored by Ramu in all the subjects together? It is 66, 72, 78, 64, 84, 92. The first row gives us the all the marks scored by Ramu in each of the 6 subjects A, B, C, D, E, F. And we want their sum. We have just added them. It comes out to be 456. So total marks scored by Ramu in all the subjects together is going to be 456. Now next question is, what is the total number of marks scored by Balu in all the subjects together? So Balu's is second last row, which is 48 plus 54 plus 58 plus 53 plus 41 plus 36, which turns out to be 290. And what we want their difference. So 456 minus 290 comes out to be 166, which is required in the question. What is this question asking? Difference of sum of their marks. So we have summed up the marks of Ramu, we have summed up the marks of Balu, and we have taken the difference. So difference comes out to be 456 minus 290, which is 166. So this is again one approach. Can we solve this by using some other approach? Yes, we can solve it by taking the individual differences, just like we have done in first question also. So we can solve this question by taking the sum of the differences in the individual values of Ramu and Balu. So we can see in each of the subject Ramu scored more than that of Balu. So we can directly do the difference. So in A subject, what is the difference between Ramu and Balu? It is going to be 66 minus 48. 66 minus 48 is going to be how much? It is going to be 18. Sorry. It is going to be 18. Similarly, what is the difference between the marks of Ramu and Balu in B subject? It is 72 minus 54. So 72 minus 54 is going to be how much? 18. Again 18. Earlier it was 18, again 18. 18 plus 18 will become 36. What is the difference between the marks of Ramu and Balu in C subject? It is going to be 78 and 58 difference. So what is the difference between 78 and 58? It is going to be 20. So 36 plus 20 will become 56. Similarly, we can do it for D, E and F subject, and some turns out to be 166 only. So we can do it by this method also. Rather than summing up all the marks of Ramu and all the marks of Balu and taking the difference, we can do it by using alternate approach, which suggests that we can take the individual differences also rather than taking the sum of differences. Okay, I hope it is clear to everyone. Let's move on to next question. Question number 7. Okay, just try this question. Take 30-40 seconds. Just at least read and get the idea what has to be done in this question. I hope you have got the at least you have got the direction how what has been asked and how to solve. What has been asked in this question? Percentage of marks of Sita in all the subject together. So what is the aggregate percentage of Sita? How can we get the aggregate percentage? Total marks of Sita, total marks obtained by Sita divided by total maximum marks, and we have just got the idea from the major data set that total marks is 100 for each subject, and if there are 6 subjects then total marks is going to be 600. So we just have to sum up the all the marks of Sita. So what is the total marks secured by Sita? It is going to be 522. So if Sita scored 522 marks total, so we need to find out 522 is how much percentage of 600. So 522 upon 600 into 100. Again, need not to solve this by using calculation 5220 upon 600. Need not to do that. You can do it directly. You want 522 is how much percentage of 600? 600 itself is 100%. What is the 10% of 600? It is going to be 60. And what we want, it is less than less than 60. So we can say that it is less than 90%. So less than 90% close value is 87%. And if we want to move it, we can move it further also. Okay, so by this method we can do that. And one more method is there to solve this question rather than summing up all the marks. Can we do it in reverse order? How? What reverse order? Can we find the total marks? We know total marks of all the subject is 600, and Sita scored 88 marks in subject A. So how much marks of Sita deducted in subject A? It is 100 minus 88, which is 12. How much marks did Sita deducted in B subject? It is 100 minus 96, which is 4. So 12 plus 4 will become 16. How much marks of Sita deducted in subject C? It is 100 minus 72, which turns out to be 28. And till now the score was how much? 16. And 28 plus 16 is going to be how much? 28 plus 16 is going to be 44. Like this we can add that and subtract that total from 600, or 600 minus that turns out to be 520. So rather than adding but big numbers, we can add small numbers. Okay, this is also one of the approach to make your calculation easier. Okay, otherwise the general or traditional approach is add all the numbers and divide by total marks of all the numbers into 100% is your percentage. We know how to calculate, we are calculating this from class 1 also. Okay, so next question. So here answer is choice B. Question number 8. Just go through the question once. Okay, so what has been asked in this question? What is the average number of marks scored in subject D by all the 5 students together? So what is the formula to calculate average? Total number, sum of all the observation divided by total number of observation. So what is required here? Average number of marks scored in subject D by all the 5 students together. So what is the number of marks scored by Ramu in subject D? It is 64. What is the number of marks scored by Sita in subject D? It is 82. What is the number of marks scored by Geeta in subject D? It is 66. For Balu it is 53, and for Soni it is 35. What we want? We want the sum of all these 5 values and divide it by 5. We will get the average, because average is sum of all the observation divided by total number of observation. So sum turns out to be 300, and 300 divided by 5, our answer is 60. So 60 is the average, which is option number D. I hope it is clear. What is average? How to calculate average? Sum of all the observation divided by total number of observation. So here are 5 observation, 5 friends are there, Ramu, Sita, Geeta, Balu, Soni, and they have got 64, 82, 66, 53 and 35 marks. So we have to add all of these marks and divide by the total number of observation, total number of persons, which is 5. So 300 divided by 5 is going to be 60. I hope it is clear. Okay, let's move on to next question number 9th. Just go through this question once fast. Okay, let me just read it once again for you. How many of the given students got more than 60% marks in all the subjects put together? How many of the given students got more than 60% marks in all the subjects put together? So don't rush to solving this question, just see the data first. So what we want, the number of, so all those students who have got more than 60% of the marks in all the subject, we want all those students who have got aggregate more than 60% marks, so who have got first division or more than first division. So we want all those students who have got more than 60%. First we need to first we will see the table and analyze and observe for which student we need to check. Do not rush and check it for every student. Just see for Ramu. Do we need to check for Ramu? The marks scored by Ramu in each of the subject is more than 60. And if marks scored by Ramu in each of the subject is more than 60, then how can his percentage be less than 60? Obviously, he will score more than 60 marks. So Ramu has to be in that category who have scored more than 60% marks without checking, we can say that. Similarly for Sita, Sita hasn't got less than 60 marks because total marks is 100 for every subject, and she has not got less than 60 marks in any of the subject. So again, her percentage is also not going to be less than 60%. So Sita is also going to be in that list of students who have got more than 60% marks. Similarly for Geeta have got in some of the exams more than 60 and in some of the exams less than. Leave Geeta for now. Let's see for Balu. Did Balu get more than 60%, 60 marks in any of the subjects? No. So we need not to check for Balu also, because if Balu hasn't got more than 60 marks in any of the subject, how can his percentage be more than 60%? So obviously we need not to check for Balu also. Do we need to check for Sony? Do we need to check for Sony also? For how many of the subjects did Sony get more than 60% marks? I think in none of the subjects Sony get more than 60% marks. Then how can his percentage be more than 60%? So that is not possible. So obviously Balu and Sony is not going to be in that list, and Ramu and Sita is definitely in that list. So which person we need to check? We only need to check for Geeta, none of the other person. I hope this is clear to everyone. So we just need to check for Geeta. Did Geeta score more than 60% or not? So we have checked it for Geeta. What is the percentage of marks scored by Geeta? Sum of all the marks scored by Geeta divided by 600, because subject are 6 and each subject consists of 100 marks. So marks scored by Geeta divided by total marks, maximum marks in those 6 subjects into 100, which comes out to be 61%. So Geeta is also in their list. So there are going to be 3 people in the list. And who are they? Ramu, Sita and Geeta. So please do not blindly rush to the questions or rush to the solving of getting all the marks. From the data itself, it is very much clear that Ramu and Sita is going to be in the list and Balu and Sony is not going to be in the list. So you need to check only for Geeta, not for all 5 students. I hope it is clear to everyone. Okay, let's move on to next question. Question number 10. Just have a look at it. What this question is saying. I hope you have gone through the question. I will just read it for you. What is the ratio of the total number of marks obtained by Sony in all the subjects together to the total number of marks scored in subject E by all the students together? So question here is, what is the ratio of total number of marks obtained by Sony in all the subjects together to the total number of marks scored in subject E by all the students together? So what is the total number of marks obtained by Sony in all the subject together? It is going to be 56, 44, 42, 35, 33, 40 some, which comes out to be 250. And what is the total marks scored in subject E by all the students together? It is column second last column, which is 84 plus 94 plus 48 plus 41 plus 33, which turns out to be 300. We just want their ratio. What is their ratio? 250 ratio 300 is going to be 5:6. So what has been asked in this question? They have asked the ratio of total marks scored by Sony in all the 6 subjects to that of the ratio of total marks scored by all the students in subject E, all the 5 students in subject E. So we have to sum up the marks of all the 5 students in subject E, and we have to sum up the marks of Sony in all the subjects, all 6 subjects, and then we have to take the ratio. So answer is going to be 5:6 here.